next one's a committee of the whole, so it won't be until April 2nd. Gotta do it, you gotta do it. Don't wanna miss that one.
Good evening, everyone. I'd like to welcome you to the regular board meeting of trustees just for Monday, March 6th. Ask that you silence your phones. March 5th, 2018. Let the record reflect that it is 6:36. Can you take the roll call, please, Madam Clerk?
Trustee Muhammad?
Here.
Trustee Stubbs?
Here.
Trustee House?
Here.
Trustee Denton?
Present.
Trustee Pearson?
Here.
Trustee Henyard?
Present.
Okay, all members of the board are here. We have a quorum. Next thing on the agenda is a pledge of allegiance. If you all stand.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And if you remain standing, I ask that our village administrator, what's your title, Janice? Director of Administration, lead us in prayer tonight.
Everybody bow your head. Just come to us tonight. You can have a nice smooth meeting. Get in, get out. Amen.
Amen. That was nice and smooth.
Amen.
And heartfelt.
Right to the point. Okay. All right, Director. Okay. Next thing on the agenda is general announcements. Are there any? Madam Clerk? Okay, next thing is village clerk's report.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and trustees. Trustees, if you'll notice, under approval of the minutes, I divided them into two sections. The first section represents the minutes from the board meetings held from January 2nd of this year, and below that are the minutes that were prepared and on the February 5th agenda for approval for August, September, and October of last year. So at your pleasure, I would ask for a motion. I would suggest doing the first cluster together or individually, and then a second vote on the second cluster.
Okay, can I get a motion to approve the minutes for February 7th, January 16th, and January 2nd? February 7th is special board meeting, January 16th is committee of the whole, and January 2nd is regular board meeting.
Make a motion to approve the minutes for February 7th, January 16th, and January 2nd. Second.
It's been motioned and seconded to approve those minutes as stated. Any discussion? No discussion. Roll call.
Trustee Muhammad?
Aye.
Trustee Stubbs?
Aye.
Trustee House?
Aye.
Trustee Denton?
Aye.
Trustee Pearson?
Aye.
Trustee Henyard?
Motion carries 6 ayes. Next thing is the approval of the second clusters, if you mentioned it, of meetings, October 19, 2017, October 7th, which was a special board meeting, October 2nd, 2017, regular board meeting, September 18, 2017, regular board meeting, September 5th, 2017, regular board meeting, August 21st, 2017, regular board meeting, and August 3rd, 2017, special board meeting. Can I get a motion to approve those meetings as stated?
I make a motion to approve the board meetings as presented.
Second.
It's been motioned and seconded to approve those board meetings as presented. Any discussion? No discussion. Roll call.
Trustee Muhammad?
Aye.
Trustee Stubbs?
Aye.
Trustee House?
Aye.
Trustee Denton?
Aye.
Trustee Pearson?
Aye.
Trustee Henyard?
Motion carries 6 ayes. Next thing on the agenda is communications.
Yes, Mayor, I have one item
Okay.
from Thornton Township. Thornton Township Hall and the Senior Center in Calumet City are both undergoing imminent renovations, and Supervisor Zigarelli has announced that as of Thursday, March 8th, which is this week, this Thursday, Thornton Township Hall will be closed for the rest of the year. That's the hall located at 333 East 162nd Street, and again, as well as the senior facility in Calumet City. So they are temporarily relocating to two different locations, one for administrative offices such as the assessor, clerk, and general assistants. They will be at 900 East 162nd Street, which is not very far from the current hall. And then senior services will be at the Senior and Youth Family Services Center in Riverdale, and we will have this posted for everyone, but just to be mindful that as of this Thursday, March 8th, Thornton Township Hall and the Senior Services Center in Calumet City will be closed for renovations. The telephone numbers are the same, so if you are not sure where to go, the number remains 596-6040-708. Thank you.
Okay. Next thing on the agenda, engineers report.
Thank you this evening, Mayor, Madam Clerk, village trustees, residents from the village of Dalton. Just a couple items on my report. The first thing is there has been an announcement of CDBG grant 2018. Last year, the village did about $220,000 worth of street resurfacing as part of a Cook County Black grant that the village did receive. This year I attended a workshop on Wednesday, February 27th. Similar to last year, basically it just outlined the details and any changes of the 2018 Cook County Block Grant submittal. This year, just like in previous years, the village needs to pass a resolution, certification of the resolution, certified engineer's estimate, and a current audit must accompany the grant application. The grant application submittal will be done online, and it is due on March 23rd, that Friday at 4 p.m. Attached with my report is a map. These are the only eligible areas that are identified in the map that was sent as part of my report. So the entire village is not eligible to receive grant funding, just these areas that are highlighted. I will work along with Matt Stacy, the Public Works Director, to identify those sections of pavement that are in the worst condition, and we'll apply upwards to the maximum amount of $400,000 for grant funding. In previous years, we've received a maximum of somewhere between $200,000 and $220,000, so we would expect to receive the same amount of money. Final thing I have in my report, CMAP, the Comprehensive Regional Planning Agency for Metropolitan Chicago, has a pavement management grant that was due a couple weeks ago. I did apply for that grant on behalf of the village at no cost. I didn't charge anything to the village for doing that. Basically, it was a 2-page application, and what that grant is, that the, if selected, CMAP will provide a pavement analysis of the entire village, and that's something that the village can use for further application of grants in the future. I will entertain any questions at this time.
I looked at the outlay that you had on, that you sent to me in my email, and I
Yes.
couldn't make out the street names or the what blocks they were covering. Will you give us a listing of what actual?
I can give you a bigger map, so I can do that if you like that. So,
Thank you.
okay, not a problem.
Did you say we're applying for 400,000?
Yes, that's the maximum amount.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, thanks. Bye. Next thing on the agenda is committee reports. First on Human Services, Trustee Muhammad.
Thank you, Mayor. This is from Barbara Batten, the Supervisor of the Dalton Water Department. The monthly summary for the Payment Center for the month of February 2018, total water collections was $499,780.59. And the other collections were $311,855.38. The grand total of collections was $811,635.97. The dollar amount of water bills that are 120 days or more past due is $1,830,651.21. And that is an increase of $269,423.77. Also, as a public service announcement, when you receive your estimated bill, which is the yellow card, I should say, not your bill, but the yellow card, you don't have to mail it in. You don't even have to walk it in. You can call 708-849-4000, and you can call your reading in so that you can get an estimate reading. And that's my report for the Water Department.
Okay, next thing is planning. Trustee Hendrick.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome back. I missed you guys. It's been a minute. I have the housing report for, what's the dates? February 1st, 2018 through February 28th, 2018. First, we have 30 property transfer tax, 45 transfer tax, 12 sales inspections, 34 as-is inspections, 6 quick claims, 4 judicial deeds, 4 trust deeds, 1 tax deed, 44 rental licenses, 50 rental inspections, 12 vacant property permits, 9 tenant water deposits, 26 escrow deposits, 4 escrow release inspections, 14 escrow refunds, and 52 housing tickets. Total process was $357. The total revenue collected was $68,450. And that concludes the housing report. Thank you, Mayor.
Okay, thanks, Trustee Hendrick. Next thing is departmental operations. Trustee Stubbs.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for coming out this evening. This report was supplied by Superintendent Matt Stacy, Public Works Productivity Report for February 2018. Public Works has checked and repaired 37 street lights. Public Works has checked and repaired 2 street signs. Public Works has repaired and checked 16 sewers. Public Works has repaired 3 B boxes, 1 service leak, and 5 water main breaks. Public Works has out repairing potholes throughout mapped areas. SWAP was out on January the 30th, cleaning up debris all along the village streets. Public Works had 3 emergency water turn-off requests. Public Works mechanics have serviced 2 police department vehicles, 3 fire department vehicles, 15 public work vehicles, and 1 meter reader vehicle, along with miscellaneous jobs that have come into the village shop. This is just a reminder. Please put your garbage out the night before your garbage pickup day, along with any debris you may have. Also, if you see water coming up from the ground, please call our Public Works office with an accurate address. After hours, call our 911 dispatch center at 708-201-3242. Please call us for more information at 708-201-3280 or 3281. Business hours are Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. Thank you. That's the end of my report, Mayor.
Thanks. Okay, Police and Fire, Trustee Pearson.
Good afternoon. From Chief Dyer, we had 808 total incidents from January 1st to February 28th. The breakdown is as follows. Fires, 43. Motor vehicle accidents, 41. Emergency medical service, 544. Hazardous conditions, 31. Fire service calls, false alarms, 49. Fire alarms and detector activations, 57. And incident reports in progress to be coded is 43. And those are just things that are not coded yet. We are still trying to purchase a fire truck for the fire department. We do have one with an engine down right now. We had a police and fire committee meeting where the committee agreed to take it to the board, but right now we're doing a little struggling with trying to get the funds together to be able to do that, but our goal is to ultimately purchase a new fire engine. From Chief Collins, activity is during the month of February 2018, police responded to 1,921 calls for service. In addition to calls, the following activity was recorded. Traffic tickets, 222. Parking violations, 728. Criminal arrests, 50. Warrants, 4. Aggravated assault and battery, 2. Forcible rape, 1. Murders, 2. And I want to make sure that I add that there was 2 murders solved by this police department and the crime task force. All that information is, the details are not available for that, but I'm sure the mayor will probably touch on that. But out of the 2 murders we had, they both were solved, which is a great thing. Robbery, 5. Burglaries, 12. Motor vehicle thefts, 8. Regular thefts, 31. And arsons, 0. We also had Project Connect last Thursday over at the Park District, and we had a nice crowd. That is something that I wish everybody or more people would come out to participate in. They really put on a good forum there where you could come out, talk about whatever you want to talk about. So if you got problems on your block or problems in the community, things you want to see, that's the place to come and talk about it. And it's the last Thursday of every month. The locations might change because they're talking about taking it to some churches. They want to have it at the Park District some more. And we always have it, we have it here a lot, right in the Village Hall. But if you hear somebody talking about something that they'd like to have the police address, and it's not a board meeting, it's issues dealing with the police department where they could really help you. They have a lot of knowledgeable people there that they do a good job. So come on out the last Thursday of every month, except around Christmas. I think Thanksgiving and Christmas they don't have it. And the time is always at 7 o'clock. And Miss Creighton and Mr. Creighton usually bring some cookies or something that you could nibble on and some water. So it's really a good thing. So come on out and join us. And Mayor, that's all I have.
Okay, thank you, trustee. Next thing on the agenda is finance, trustee Mohammed.
This finance report is from the manager of finance, which is Ms. Yvonne Redmond. Our finance report for March 5th, 2018. The Cook County Treasurer's Office has mailed out property tax bills. The due date for tax year 2017 first installment was Thursday, March 1st, 2018. As of March 2nd, we have received $1,136,656.82, which represents about 25% of what we expect to receive for our first installment. The second installment, I believe, would be August of this year. And that's my finance report, Mayor.
Thank you. Next thing, special events, trustee Henry.
Thank you. Just to give you guys an update, we're working on special events currently. We looking over the budget just to see what we can do this year for the residents. Stay tuned. Maybe in the next month or so, we'll have something on the calendar. Thank you. End of report.
Mayor, may I elaborate on special events?
Okay.
On January the 15th, 2018, at no cost to the village, the trustees had a Martin Luther King breakfast at the Dorchester. It was a great success. We had great performance. I wish you all could have came, or I wish you all could have saw it on Channel 4 or 99. I had asked several times and tried to make many attempts to show it, and unfortunately, I was unable to get that done. Maybe next year, same time, we'll get a chance to do that again. Thank you. Thank you, Mayor.
Okay, next thing on the agenda is corporate bills.
I move to approve the corporate bills, removing the following items. The bills from Rosenthal, Murphy, Koblenz, and Donahue, Odelson and Stirk Limited, and law offices of Dennis G. Giannopoulos.
Second.
What page is that on?
Well, there's a total of 3. You have to look within them. I couldn't tell you the page numbers, but it's those firms.
I want to know what we were moving. I know you read it. You said one on page 4, Mary Kay?
To answer your question, Trustee Henyard, in regards to Odelson and Giannopoulos bills, we requested from the finance director, which I'm in possession of, those bills, and we are reviewing them, and we will need some time to conduct them because we're finding quite a few conflicts of interest.
There's 2 on page 4.
2 on page 4, 1 on page 6.
Have you located them, trustee Henry?
Yes.
Okay. All right, there's been a motion to approve the corporate bills with the exception of the ones for Rosenthal and, what was the rest of it?
Rosenthal, Murphy, Koblenz, and Donahue, Odelson and Stirk Limited, and Law Office of Dennis G. Giannopoulos.
Thank you for your help there, trustee. Now, any discussion?
Yeah, what's the reason for the,
It was seconded by trustee Stubbs. Okay. What's the
is that for
discussion?
review as well? I said, what was the reason for, is they all for review? Is it any particular reason?
Yes, I can give you, if we're on discussion. And I'll
What
go
was that?
down the line. Here we go. In the case of Burge versus Rogers, Murphy did not inform at least one village employee that he had been sued in at least 5 cases, and did not advise the employee that the law firm was representing him in those cases. Information that the attorney learns about an employee while defending him or her as a city worker, the attorney can then use that same information to defend a work-related lawsuit by that employee, such as retaliatory discharge, wrongful discharge, and sexual harassment or work discrimination. This is a conflict of interest. The court found that Murphy's conflict of interest violated the professional rules of conduct and referred his order to the Attorney Registration and Disciplinary Commission. Trustees will be seeking a village investigation of Murphy's conduct in village lawsuits, including whether the village will incur any cost or liability as a result of this conduct. Village employees and officials can no longer trust Murphy to represent them. Zach Zolsky of the Daily Southtown summarized the issues of his article published February 4th, 2018. Murphy has also not supported the Invest in Dalton program to provide affordable housing by stating that private developers should be used instead of the village. Murphy has not advised the board on how to move forward with a liquor commission hearing on the business less than 50 feet from Village Hall where 5 people were shot months ago. This presents serious public safety and liability issues for the village. I have requested Attorney Murphy to provide a written opinion regarding the insurance claim filed against the village for $23,000 by the mayor for water damage when the village is not responsible when water is restored to any other village resident. We have requested Murphy to provide a written opinion regarding whether the 3 board members were present, along with the mayor, constituted a quorum as a result of the mayor canceling the call of a special board meeting by trustees. And that's the end of my inquiry concerning those payments.
What about Odelson?
Again, as I stated before, on Odelson and Stirk and the other law firm of Giannopoulos, we're taking those under review. I just received those today. They were such a huge file, I have to go through them. That's going to take a minute.
You done?
That's it.
Okay. Any other further discussion? I'd like to chime in on this. Attorney Murphy is our village attorney. One thing that Trustee Muhammad stated was the fact of what was in the Southtown newspaper. I only told you a little bit about what was in the Southtown newspaper. What Attorney Murphy did in representing the village and also representing an employer has been commonly done by a lot of attorneys that are village attorneys. When an employee sues the village, he represents us against that employee. And in this case, I think this, you correct me if I'm wrong, this employee sued the village 5 times?
No, he's sued the village once. He's been sued 5 times.
Okay.
For police misconduct.
Yeah. The police officer has been sued 5 times for police misconduct. As our village attorney, Attorney Murphy has represented him. On the other side, we've had an employee sue me and the village, and Attorney Murphy represented him. And this has happened in other towns. It said it in that article that Trustee Muhammad failed to mention to make it look like it was one-sided. And to be honest with you, I don't think he did anything wrong. Now, Odelson and Stirk, they represent us in some of our hearings, traffic hearings and housing hearings. Dennis Giannopoulos also has represented us in some of those hearings. And it has been brought to our attention that our village attorney could not represent us in some of those hearings. That's why we selected other attorneys to represent us. Now, up until this time, this board has approved the billing from Attorney Murphy's office, has approved the billing from Odelson and Stirk, and also has approved the billing from Dennis Giannopoulos for over the last 3 to 4 years. But now there's a problem. But what I want to do is, I want to read a letter from the firm of Odelson and Stirk, who will be representing our village attorney, Murphy, that he wrote to the board members. This is dated February 6th, and board members had it for about a month. And it says, "Dear board members," this is read John B. Murphy, Rosenthal Murphy, Koblenz, and Donahue. I represent John Murphy and his firm. My client informs me that the board is considering adopting a resolution suspending payment to the firm because of a decision disqualifying the firm from representing the village of Dalton in a court case which goes back to 2013. Any such decision stopping rightful payment for fees earned will result in new litigation, which the village of Dalton and the individual trustees will be well advised to avoid. I have worked with Mr. Murphy for over 30 years. He is an attorney of impeccable integrity and reputation. I know from my own experience as a local government attorney for over 45 years that the decision in this case in question was a reasonable one and likely intended to save the taxpayers from having to hire multiple lawyers, where any judgment or settlement would not be paid by any employee but by the village. In his capacity as village attorney, Mr. Murphy has provided valuable service to the village of Dalton and will continue to do so. In simplest terms, if the board passes this resolution, we will challenge it in court and we will win, because there is no legal basis to withhold compensation for services rendered. This, in turn, will result in the further waste of taxpayers' dollars. The board has an obligation to avoid the wasteful litigation, which will certainly result from the adoption of the proposed resolution. Please reconsider this action and allow the village attorney to continue to do a fine job he has done for Dalton, as he does in many municipalities. Respectfully, Bert Odelson, Managing Partner of Odelson and Stirk. So you just heard Trustee Pearson talking about the struggling financial situation we're in to try to even get our fire department, a fire engine repaired. But yet and still, the members that vote on this will put us in legal litigation, which will cost our taxpayers, residents, money that we don't have to spend. So this was kind of like a warning letter that was sent to the board and asked for reconsideration, and today they are considering on voting on this, and I have nothing further to say on this.
Okay, thank you, Mayor. I'd like to respond, please. You made reference to an article by Zach Zelsk, and I will read it in its context so that the residents, and for the record, we can know exactly what happened. You were talking about a quote from Elisa Lerman, who is a law professor at Catholic University and co-author of the casebook Ethical Problems in the Practice of Law. Said norms around legal conflicts of interest have shifted over the past few decades. In the good old days, lawyers just expected to represent people with conflicting interests all the time, especially lawyers who lived in smaller communities, she said. This is Lisa Lerman. Over the last 30 years or so, the standards of what's expected by way of avoiding conflicts of interest have changed a lot of things, and that used to be considered normal, and you would just manage it, or now a basis of disqualification or even discipline. I'll say that again. They have changed, and a lot of things that used to be considered normal and you would just manage it are now a basis for disqualification or even discipline. Lerman goes on to say situations such as Murphy's can pose problems related to conflicted loyalties if, for example, a village attorney fails to adequately defend the municipality from a lawsuit filed by an employee with whom he is friendly, and problems of confidentiality where a village attorney may learn confidential information about an employee while representing him that could later be used against him. Now, that's the quote in full context, and we have made this article available for everyone. Now, let me answer on the Odelson, who said he represents Mr. Murphy. Mr. Odelson represents the village of Dalton. He represents the village of Dalton at the court of Markham, but yet he's representing Mr. Murphy. That is clearly a conflict of interest for him to write a letter to warn this board about any litigation that we may peruse or have under consideration. That in itself is a conflict of interest. As I stated before, we will not make those payments on this corporate bill, and I will call the question, to move the call the question.
Well,
Second.
Well, if you think that that is a threat or an idle
Attorney Murphy, there is a move to call the question, and there's been a second. Please remind the mayor of the rules that he is in violation. We have a move to call the question, seconded by Trustee Stubbs.
You know, if the attorney in the back quit texting you.
Attorney Murphy, I would ask you to remind the mayor
if the attorney
is in violation of Robert's rules. There has been a move to call the question.
If the attorney in the back keeps texting you, you know your phone is foiable, don't you? And you want to talk about attorney fees and hiring attorneys. We get a bill from the attorney that's sitting in the back there in December. You guys hadn't even voted her in. How can she bill us for something that you did in December? You know, you want to talk about hiring attorneys and conflicts of interest.
Yes,
you know?
the bill.
Attorney Murphy, there is a move to call the question, and it's been seconded.
Take the vote.
The mayor is in violation of Robert's rules.
You don't have to tell me what I'm in violation of. Take the vote.
On the motion to approve the corporate bills, accepting bills for village attorney, the attorney for the hearing officer, and the village prosecutor, Trustee Muhammad.
I would like you to read those names into the record for the vote, clerk.
Okay, then give me a moment to...
I'll do it for you if you don't mind, because I have it in front of me. You may not have it.
I have them in front of me.
Okay, if you would read that into the record, please.
To pull them up. 1 second. I could probably do it by memory.
I see your phone.
Here they are, right here.
I got them. Yeah, I got them. I don't want to butcher anybody's name. On the motion to approve the corporate bills, accepting payments to Rosenthal, Murphy, and Koblenz, Odelson and Stirk, and the law offices of Dennis G. Giannopoulos. There being no further discussion, Trustee Muhammad.
Aye.
Trustee Stubbs.
Aye.
Trustee House.
No.
Trustee Denton.
Aye.
Trustee Pearson.
Aye.
Trustee Henry.
No.
Okay, motion carried 4-2.
2.
Okay, do we need another motion for them to, they approved everything on the corporate bill?
that's fine. No.
Okay. All right, next thing on the agenda is old business. Item A, override of the mayoral veto for Invest in Dalton. Can I get a motion?
I'd like to make a motion to reconsider ordinance number 17-048, Invest in Dalton, and overriding the mayor's veto, and direct the Director of Finance to immediately pay all outstanding invoices from Grasso Bass for the Invest in Dalton program.
Second.
Okay, it's been motioned and second to override my veto of the Invest in Dalton ordinance number 17-048. Any discussion? I'm going to discuss
Yeah, I got
it.
a question.
Go ahead, trustee.
Attorney Murphy, can that not go into my committee so we can vet that through?
If a majority wanted to, yes.
Well, I think we should put it in committee. I am chair of housing. I think we should vet this through. I have some issues with it, which the board knows, so. Can you hear me now?
No, is it on?
Okay. I think this should be transferred to my committee, which I am the chairperson of housing. I do have some issues with this, which a lot of residents did as well when they came to the last committee meeting. I do not think we should execute this tonight. And this is all for the record, Mary Kay. It should go to committee. We should talk amongst trustees. If some trustees have issues with it, I think we should entertain that before we approve this. We do not have $30,000 just to pay out currently. Plus, we don't even have an invoice, so I don't even know what we're paying $30,000 for. So I will advise the board to please support me on having this in my committee, and then therefore we can vet it through, then put it up for board approval. I don't think it should get approved tonight. I would love y'all support if I can have it. So can I have a motion to send this to Housing Committee?
You know, trustee, before you do that motion, I'd like to say something too in regards to this matter. And I support trustee Henry's decision to try to put this through committee and rediscuss this. You know, we've been talking about this for the last few meetings here Invest in Dalton, which I think you even voted for it initially, or you didn't vote for it, Trustee Henry?
I did.
Okay, but after looking at it, it's not good for us. I mean, to have an attorney bill us $5,000 per house to try to get these houses over to the village side is totally ludicrous. I mean, 6 houses, he's billing us $30,000 to file a lien on. Now, when you file this lien, it's only going to cost you about $300 to file the lien. It's going to cost you probably about another $75 or so to publish it in the newspaper. So we're looking at approximately $300, no more than $500. Now, when the attorney was here, he said that it cost $2,500 to do it, and the other $2,500 was for him doing it. That's totally not the case. So now, they mentioned the fact, oh, Dalton's got 400 abandoned houses, you know. So you mean to tell me if we got 400 abandoned houses and this attorney's going to represent us per household, you know, how much money are we looking at? $2 million? Is that what we need to try to get these vacant houses to us? It's ridiculous. It doesn't cost that much for us to file liens. Matter of fact, our village attorney could do it, which wouldn't cost us any additional money like that. So I'm saying that this should go to committee. It needs to be looked at again. If we're going to continue to go that route, we need to renegotiate that cost, because we can't. You heard the trustee. We're struggling to try to get our fire trucks fixed. Where are we going to get this money to try to get these houses? You know. So, that's it.
I'm going to second Trustee Henry's motion.
We had a motion to override the veto, and then by Trustee Stubbs. And was there a second on that?
It's a second by Muhammad.
Okay. And then Trustee Henyard asked to send to committee.
If I can make a statement
Go ahead, trustee.
before we take the vote. The mayor has vetoed a program that is a win for the village by putting foreclosed residents back on the tax rolls and bringing more residents to the village by providing affordable houses, as well as being a win for home ownership in the village of Dalton. The mayor has objected to costs for the program, falsely claiming that the village cannot afford those losses. He even went so far as to direct the media department, along with another elected official, to cut and edit a board meeting to tarnish the character of the attorney, possibly creating liability for libel and slander by distorting the video that was shown at a previous board meeting. Other towns and elected officials have been sued for the same conduct. The program costs will be recouped from those parties who participate in the Invest in Dalton program. Bottom line, there will be no cost to the village. The village will be getting taxes paid to help the village schools and park districts. The village will get permit fees, water bills paid, and no more cost to the village for board ups, grass cutting, and other expenses caused by abandoned properties. The attorney is and has charged the same fee to the Harvey, Markham, Polson, Thornton Township, and BP Capital. On one hand, at a previously housing meeting, the mayor and other elected officials stated that they were not against the Invest in Dalton program. And on the other hand, they showed a distorted video. You must ask yourself why someone would fight a program to help our village. My present house was an abandoned one for 5 years when I purchased it. It has been now on the tax roll for over 18 years, and my taxes are current. I hope all elected official taxes on their properties are current. We currently pay 3 lawyers. Neither look like Bass, and neither of them thought enough about us to help address this vacant properties, but got paid for routine legal service, and nobody said a word. This is a political and not about what is in the best interest of our village, because if it were, we all would work to make this a success. Remember, it was Attorney Bass who represented the Black Towing Company when the trustees had to override the mayor's veto. Here we have, again, seeking to override his veto to support Black attorney who prepared and presented a program to help us. The mayor simply does not want to give the trustees he views as his opponents a win. Instead of doing what's right for the village, he is depriving our young people of an opportunity for home ownership, and that is disgraceful. So today I am standing up and asking each and every one of you to stand with me for our community. We went over to a house that had been rehabbed by BP Capital maybe 3 weeks ago. It was gutted. It took 3 months to be sold. Is now on the tax roll. The young lady and her son, they went through a program on how to be a good neighbor, and this is what we hope to do throughout the village of Dalton. It does not take forever, as the mayor have stated. We will recoup our money. Matter of fact, Ms. Creighton, the house is not too far from you. We also invited residents to go with us. They saw the house. They talked to the people from the program, Ms. Johnson. And I'm asking all the trustees to support this so we can get the abandoned houses back on the tax roll. Thank you.
Okay. You're welcome. When BP Capital appeared here, and I think the gentleman from BP Capital is here, when he appeared here, he was represented by Attorney Bass. And in Invest Dalton program, the same attorney represented the village there. Now, you mentioned the fact that BP Capital took possession of that house. What exactly did the village get once the house was sold? Did the village get any, that when that house went to BP Capital and whatever they sold it for, did the village share in the profit of that house?
I'm I'm not looking for,
Why are we giving away houses for nothing?
Mayor.
And then the same attorney that represented BP Capital is representing Invest in Dalton. And when he represented BP Capital, he said that it wasn't going to cost the village a dime. But on the other hand, when he does a litigation work, legal work, to get the house in possession of the village so we can get it to BP Capital, he's charging us $5,000 a house. How does that not cost the village anything? And why is not the village receiving some of the money, the revenue that the house was sold for by BP Capital? Why should BP Capital get all the money when we're paying for the legal end to give it to BP Capital?
BP Capital is paying their own fees, Mayor. He put up his own money,
Okay.
not the Village of Dalton.
How's he-
And also, I would like to state this too, Mayor. That house is back on the tax roll. I would also like to state, as I was doing my little investigation, you have 6 houses, your taxes haven't been paid. That's a total of $115,000 that we really could use. The Village of Dalton could really use that money.
Okay.
So, the gentleman is sitting in the audience.
Okay.
If he don't mind, he can come up and answer that question if you don't mind.
Well,
If you don't mind,
I asked
Mayor.
you since you presented it.
Okay.
I asked you since you presented
I
it.
just stated.
I asked
Just stated that he put up his own money.
how
He
much.
put up his own money.
We heard you.
He paid
We heard
Attorney
you.
Bass.
We heard you. We heard you.
And the house is back on the tax roll.
But when-
Now, according to the records, and it's public records, you can look it up, the mayor have 6 houses out there with delinquent taxes that total up to $115,000. I would like to get that money. My taxes are paid. Public record, look up my record, and that's my houses in the city also. They're all paid up.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. You good? You good now? How are we getting any money from BP Capital?
How are we getting any money from you with your 6 houses, Mayor?
How are we get
How are we getting any money from you?
the county?
The same thing
How-
go for you.
You're not
If you
giving me any
have
property.
houses in the Village of Dalton
You
that you rent out, that you
Now,
own,
you know what,
and you're
Trustee?
not paying any taxes
Trustee.
on that, we're not getting any money from those houses either. Thank you, Mayor.
You're welcome. Trustee, how are we getting any money from BP Capital? We're giving them the house. If we give BP Capital 400 houses, how come we're not getting any money?
How come we are not getting any money from you, Mayor?
Now, if you want to get personal on some things, we can get personal on some things, because believe you me, I'm not going to say that.
Thank you.
I got a motion to refer to the committee.
I'm not going to say that. There's a motion on the floor to refer this to the committee.
No, that's not the motion, Mayor.
That was the last motion.
No, the motion on the floor is to reconsider the override of the Invest in Dalton veto, Mayor. You have a motion and a second, and we're ready to take the vote.
Attorney Murphy. I have a motion on the floor to send this to committee, and I have a second.
I think procedurally, there's a two-step here is what the board's done in the past. First, there's the motion to reconsider, which will get the matter back on the table. Then there's the motion to actually override the veto, and at that point, you could move to amend that motion by referring the matter back to your committee. So I think we should just take the vote on the motion to reconsider first.
No one, so someone got to make that motion, correct?
It was made.
It was 2 of them made. The motion and the second.
The motion also included payment if it passes?
It's to override the veto, which,
No, it was override the veto. and
Right,
payment.
it was override, it wasn't
yeah, so
considered.
by overriding the veto, the ordinance is approved, which includes the payment, so.
On the motion to reconsider ordinance number 17-048, to put it back on the table. Trustee Muhammad.
Aye.
Trustee Stubbs.
Aye.
Trustee House.
No.
Trustee Denton.
Aye.
Trustee Pearson.
Aye.
Trustee Henyard.
No.
Okay, motion carries 4 ayes and 2 noes. That means that attorney will get $30,000.
That's to reconsider.
I would like to make a motion to approve ordinance number 17-048, invest in Dalton.
Second.
And I would like to make a motion, I would like to amend that motion by sending it to my committee, which is planning.
Second.
What do we do?
We'll take a motion on, I view that as an amendment, take a vote on it. It's likely to be 4 against, 2 in favor, but let's just vote it.
No, with all due respect, attorney, that was not the motion.
The motion by trustee Henry, you wanted to...
No, it is not by trustee Henry.
Yes, it
It was
is.
by trustee Stubbs.
Okay, and then I amended your motion, trustee
And it was
Muhammad.
seconded. It was
And it was
seconded.
seconded by trustee House. Let the attorney do
No.
his job. You have to vote on that first. If it fails, then it goes back. So Mary Kay, can you
Okay,
please
attorney?
call
Yes,
the roll on my
I
motion?
agree with that. So the vote to refer the matter to the committee should be taken. If that vote fails, then the
Exactly.
prime motion's back on the table.
On the motion to amend to send to committee by trustee Henyard, second by trustee House. Roll call, trustee Muhammad.
No.
Trustee Stubbs.
No.
Trustee House.
Aye.
Trustee Denton.
No.
Trustee Pearson.
No.
Trustee Henyard.
Aye.
Now the main motion.
On the motion to override the mayor's veto of ordinance number 17-048. Motion was by trustee Stubbs, second by trustee Muhammad. Trustee Muhammad.
Aye.
Is there any discussion, Mayor?
I think we had it.
You want discussion? Go ahead. Not on this, not on the
My
amendment.
question is for the record, the $30,000, do anybody got invoices on the 30K? Because I don't have them. Before y'all approve this 30,000, get to the attorney. Do anybody got the invoices, what we paying 30,000 for? Can I please have that? Do anybody have that?
Okay.
Any trustees?
Hold on, ma'am. Hold on, ma'am. We have not received an invoice.
So what
As far as I know, but the 30,000 is for 6 houses that supposedly Attorney Bass had filed against for the village to take possession of. Now,
But Mayor, isn't the steps that people turn in invoices before we approve big money, especially like $30,000?
yeah, I think
We
it
don't
should
have
be on.
any paper trail whatsoever of what we're paying for.
I think it should be on the warrant list too.
I
It wasn't on the
agree.
warrant list.
And that's
So-
for the record, Mary Kay.
So, they asking for the immediate payment of $30,000 to this attorney. And, once again, going back to trustee Pearson, we're struggling to try to get our fire engine done. So in case you have an emergency at your house, the fire department will be there in that engine. But, okay,
Motion to override.
okay, we're going to do a roll call on the motion. I'm saying here that 2 of these trustees find merit in the fact that we shouldn't be paying this much money in this bill.
I think it should go to
You know?
committee. We should look into it
And
before we
trustee
do it.
Henry has a excellent point in regards to it going to her committee, but some trustees, right.
I would like to move to call for question.
Second.
So, is that okay, attorney? You sending your messages, so is that okay?
I would like to move to call for question, and she's not sending any
Second.
money, any texts.
Is
His
that okay,
phone
attorney?
is down, and mine is in my purse.
Is that okay?
So I would like to move to call for question, and let's take a roll. It's been first and second.
Take the roll, Madam Clerk.
Mayor, I got one more statement before
Go
we take
ahead.
the roll.
Go ahead.
There's no discussion on the call the question, attorney, which would...
Thank you.
We're going to hear it,
Second.
trustee. Thank you. We're going to hear it. Thank you.
Attorney
Go ahead.
Murphy.
Go ahead, trustee.
Attorney Murphy.
Go ahead,
Murphy,
trustee.
Attorney
please
Murphy.
step
Go ahead,
I would
trustee.
like to
For the
move
record,
to make,
okay?
to
Order,
call
please.
for
Order, please,
question.
trustee Stubbs.
For call the
Order.
question.
We heard you. Go ahead, trustee Henry.
Thank
that's
you.
not right.
Thank you.
Call the question.
We heard
Call the
you.
question.
No more discussion.
We
Attorney
heard you.
Murphy.
You know,
Cannot have you like
A
that.
call, this is a call to question.
We heard you. All right, we heard you.
Okay.
Go ahead, trustee Henry.
Thank you. This message is to the residents. For the record, Mary Kay, everything I'm gonna say tonight, I supported this from jump. I voted for this invest in Dalton because I wanted to give houses back to the residents. But as we went forward, there were some things that needed to be tweaked. And y'all know me. I'm going to say exactly how it is. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I'm going to tell you what it is. And I'm going to ask y'all opinion. Y'all told us at my committee meeting that you no longer wanted it, meaning we need to pause and basically fix the tweaks. That's why I voted to take it off the table, fix the tweaks, and then bring it back forward. I'm not saying I'm against it. They'll get my vote if they fix the tweaks. They don't want to. I want the board to fix the tweaks before we move forward so we can have exactly what the residents want. Currently now we don't have that. We have what the board wants but not what the people wants, and I have a problem with that. So that's why I am against voting for this tonight. That's why they're gonna get a no from Trustee Henyard. So going forward, please ask these board members up here, why did they vote for this? Where's the invoices for the 30K? I care about stuff like that. When I vote on anything, I make sure I got documentation on it. Currently, I do not. It's hearsay. We're saying we're paying $30,000 for 6 houses at $5,000 a pop. Okay, where the paperwork at? When we vote on any attorney bills or any bills up here, we get an invoice, it's itemized, it tells us exactly what we're purchasing. Currently, we do not have that in front of us, and I wouldn't even spend my own money without having something like that, let alone you guys' money. So, for the record, Mary Kay, I'm totally against paying this $30,000 out. I think it should go to my committee, which I said several times, and vet it through. Then bring it back up. Then he can get approval. It's not we're against it because we're saying no. We just need to vet it through. Thank you. End of my statement.
One of the reasons I also vetoed this was not just for the cost of the attorney fees, was just the fact that when they had to, you're out of order, Trustee Stubbs.
You are too.
Yeah. Okay. Keep it up. You're gonna be removed. If one of the other reasons that I vetoed this was the fact that when they had the meeting for Invest in Dalton on that Saturday, this was all advertised as you can get a house for $5,000. And then when they came here and they held a meeting, you had to have a net worth of $40,000. So it wasn't even put out there truthfully. You know, so I took that in consideration. I took in consideration what they're charging us to try to get these houses, which our village attorney can do it, and it's just not something that's appropriate for the residents. Okay, take the road. They're gonna do what they're gonna do anyway.
On the motion to override the mayor's veto of Ordinance 17-048, Trustee Muhammad.
Aye.
Trustee Stubbs.
Aye.
Trustee House.
No.
Trustee Denton.
Aye.
Trustee Pearson.
Aye.
Trustee Henyard.
No.
Motion carries. They're gonna spend your money like that. All right, next thing on the agenda is B, the mayoral veto of ordinance number 18-001. That's the registration of defaulted mortgage and vacant properties. I'm vetoing this. You have the,
Oh, yeah, sorry.
so everybody.
I do. Slip at the switch.
And they're probably just gonna override it in the next meeting or so. But, you know, when you talk about we don't have money to do this, do that, but all these things is gonna cost us a lot of money. Okay. All right. The next thing is item C, the mayoral veto of the approval of agreement between the
Mayor,
village.
excuse me, what was 18-001? What did you read what it was about?
I didn't read it. You had it from last time. You guys,
I don't have it in front of me.
you approved it. I'm not gonna read it.
That is the registration of defaulted mortgage and vacant property ordinance.
Okay, well, I do have something to say about it. If I'm allowed to
There's no,
speak.
no, you can vote against it. You can override it. Next thing on the agenda is item C, mayoral veto of the approval agreement between the Village of Dalton and Property Registration Champion LLC. The reason I'm vetoing this is because our old village administrator is a consultant here. I think it's directly a conflict, and he left. They hired him, continue to hire him as a consultant here, and last time when the trustee presented it, he said that he was not a consultant. Here it is right here. Here it is right here. There's some of you had it in your seat. I think it's a direct conflict, and I don't think we should pass it. Next thing on the agenda is D, mayoral veto. I'm vetoing the legislative council. The young lady in the back, that's who they want to hire, who's been giving them advice, who sent us a bill in December, and she wasn't even hired here. Now, here's another cost for us. It's another cost for us. You know, we have a village attorney. They want another attorney. Previously in my administration, there's a group of trustees that hired an attorney. It cost us a lot of money. So here we go again. Next thing on the agenda is item E. I'm vetoing that. That's the direct investigation and the freezing of the village attorney's fees. John Murphy here. They want to freeze his fees. He's already presented service. Then it's going to cost us some more money because there's going to be some litigation on that. So I'm vetoing that, which will probably get overturned in the next meeting or so. All of these will probably get overturned. Okay. Next thing on the agenda is new business. It's item A, resolution number 18-R-001.
I move to approve resolution number 18R-001.
Second.
I got approval of release of the motor fuel tax funds.
Second.
Thank you for interrupting me. Item A on new business is resolution number 18R-001. That's the adoption and approval of the Illinois Department of Transportation motor fuel tax funds. And that would help us in funding some of our projects here. Okay, it's been motioned and it's been seconded. Any discussion on that? No discussion, roll call.
Trustee Muhammad?
Aye.
Trustee Stubbs?
Aye.
Trustee House?
Aye.
Trustee Denton?
Aye.
Trustee Pearson?
Aye.
Trustee Henry?
Aye.
Okay, motion carries. Next thing on the agenda of new business is item B, resolution number 18R-003. It's regarding the use of the Village Media Resource Center, and it's put on by Trustee Muhammad.
I'll defer to trustee Denton, please.
Okay,
I'd like to make a motion to adopt Resolution 18R-003, a resolution regarding the use of the Village Media Resources and Media Center.
Second.
okay, it's been motioned and seconded to adopt a new ordinance of 18R-003. Any discussion? I have something to say.
Mayor, if I can on this one, I'll comment.
I believe trustee Denton has the floor. She moved the motion and she had some discussion on that, Mayor.
Trustee Dent doesn't have the floor now. I asked for any discussion. You want to be the mayor so bad. You know what?
No, she was
I'm telling you, you want to be the mayor so bad, man. I asked for a motion. It was motioned. You deferred. You gave it to Trustee Denton. She motioned it. It was seconded.
With all
It
due
was-
respect,
it was
Mayor, I
seconded.
was deferring it. I was deferring my, if you would let me, Mayor, I was deferring my
I'm speaking
discussion
right
to
now,
trustee Denton,
I'm
sir.
speaking right now, trustee. So I asked for discussion. Trustee House wanted to discuss it. So trustee House has the floor now. Trustee Denton, as soon as he gets done.
On this ordinance, I think that I've looked over some of the things and talked with the media center as well, and I think that we really do need to redefine what our policies are in terms of getting things on the media center. I do believe that all elected officials and anybody that needs access to the media center should have access. I don't think there should be any reason why it's not. But I have not seen, as I look through the policies, that we have a document that would state that what we're putting on and why we're not. And then also something in response that in the event that we're unable to, because there have been times that I've heard about, but I don't have a document that showed it, that if we're unable to get something on there, what the rationale or the reason is for that decline. So I'm supportive of getting anything that lets everybody get their anything that'll improve the village of Dalton. I think we should have access to it. Elected officials, residents, business owners, anybody alike. I think that our policies overall need to be redefined, and if something is declined, there should be something that comes out in writing, and as of now, I haven't seen that on this ordinance right now. My recommendation would be that we redefine our policy so that we can speak about what's going on in the event that there is something declined.
Okay, Trustee Dent.
To resolve this, any member of the Board of Trustees shall have access and use of the Media Center and all media resources of the Village of Dalton, including but not limited to the village website and email blasts, and the officers and employees of the Office of Communication and Public Affairs shall provide assistance to the trustees in said use of the Media Center. Said use of the Media Center and village media resources shall be for the purposes of informing or receiving feedback from citizens about village events and programs, about units of governments, events and programs, and community events within the village. The Media Center shall not be used by any village official, officer, or employee to promote or challenge any political purpose, cause, candidate, program, or event. In the event the trustees are denied access in violation of this resolution, the trustees may seek legal remedies available to them, including legal and disciplinary action. Any officer or employee who fails to assist any trustee in their request to access any media resource of the village as provided above shall be considered to have committed an insubordination and shall be subject to disciplinary action. So that's the meat of what this resolution is about.
Can
May I say something, Mayor?
Go ahead.
Past practice board meetings were taken out of contents, edited and distorted,
That's
twisted,
not true.
misled,
Not
misrepresented, and used for publication during election time. You might have received a copy of a CD in your mailbox or at your door. The trustees have held several events, cancer walks this past summer, Winter Wonderland, December the 1st for the kids, and the Martin Luther King Jr. breakfast that we have yet to see on any of the access channels that I have personally asked on numerous occasions that it be shown so the residents can see what we, the trustees, have put on in the community for the residents. And today's date, that have not been done. So I'm in favor of this resolution.
I'm going to say this. Last May, you brought an ordinance here regarding the Media Center, stating that you had no access to it, which wasn't true. We don't edit things. The only thing that was possibly, that tried to get edited was when you mentioned to our media director, Ed Steve, at your Winter Wonderland thing, you know, which was put up on the video, which put up on the media, you asked him to edit me out. Don't put the mayor in it. And he told you no. But last year, when you presented almost identical ordinance here regarding the Media Center in May of 2017, this is what we've done that you guys presented. Clean sweep, May of 2017 was on the Media Center. Cancer walk, by Trustee Hinder, September 2017 was on the video, was on at the Media Center. The children's program, Winter Wonderland, which you wanted me edited out, that was put up in December 2017. The Martin Luther King Jr. MLK breakfast to be recorded. He recorded it. Ed has went out to all these events and recorded, and it takes time to edit it. Now, if that's not up yet, it's coming because he told me already. So, you know, and you talked about earlier that I had something edited. Nothing was edited. He presented a portion of the video as it was captured here in regards to it wouldn't cost the village anything, and he just brought it back where the attorney said it wouldn't cost us anything, but we're getting charged for it. So I'm not sure what you're talking about access, but you've had access.
I know, Mayor. I'm in favor of the video. I know exactly what you're talking about. Also, I know about the editing of the video tapes, the CDs that you go around, taking the information from the village, putting it in people's mailboxes, putting it at their door, and you're using I'm speaking, and you're using the information from the village and the board meetings to do that during election time, distorting the truth, and we would like that stop at this point.
Trustee.
We don't want it to go any further at this point, so therefore, I am in favor of the resolution.
Trustee, you want these village meetings captured and made public, and any person can go to channel 499 and look in, or go to our website, it's streaming live right now, and pick out whatever they want. Any one of these residents can record, present anything. Now, we have the same opportunity. Anything that was used during election time, it was done off duty time. If I want to put something together when I'm off work, I can do it. If you want to do the same thing. You know, you're talking about how people campaign. You know, some people are better at campaigning than others. So, I'm not sure what you're talking about here. You've had access. Just truly clears it. Shows that you've had access. You know, so.
Can I be recognized, Mayor?
In this ordinance, when you talk about the ordinance, you're talking about disciplinary action. Basically, what you're trying to do is attack my office because the media center is under my office. You know,
I thought they worked for the village.
I'm talking now.
I thought they worked for the village,
I'm
Mayor.
talking now. I'm talking now. Just as is the tapings that were done by my predecessors that didn't have a media center, the Mayor Shaw, Mayor Lewis, when they controlled those shows, the mayors were always on it. They controlled who went on it. You know, and I'm not talking about just control. We have given you access. But when you talk about disciplinary, if you go down there and tell Ed, hey, I want you to do this right now, you're going to discipline him? That ain't going to work. It's not going to work.
Can I be recognized, Mayor?
You're trying to take everything from me. Everything. There was no media center here when this meeting, when we came into this. Well, I take that back. There was one on Sibley Boulevard. There's one on Sibley Boulevard. But we have progressed light years in what you used to see at the media center than it was in the past. I'm done. Go ahead, Trustee Pearson.
Mayor, I just wanted to speak on this. It's not about taking your power, and you know that. It's about that the trustees have done some things, and they want it to be up, and it is controlled, and you control it. And it shouldn't be controlled. It should be, if somebody's got something good that they put up. First you said trustees didn't do anything. Then when we did things, you didn't want to put it up.
Tell me what we didn't put up that you asked to be put up.
And you also spoke about the
Tell me what you wanted to put up and it wasn't put up. Because here it is. Here it is right here.
You don't cut the meetings, and you know you cut them. If it's something that's you don't like, you cut it out. And it never gets shown. It might be shown when it's live, but you know you cut these
That's not true. That's not true. That's not true. Ed, you answer that and tell them what I told you in regards to editing.
Shouldn't answer that.
You know it's not legally we can do that. I'm not saying it's a legal thing. You can't cut board meetings. And the prior media director, plus myself, we've been asked. I haven't done that, so I'm not gonna say I have done it. I mean, but there's always things that go under the board meeting that's controversial, but you can't cut board meetings. You can't edit board meetings.
The only time that Ed brought it to me, he said, and we put it up, the Children's Winter Wonderland, that was your thing, your baby, and you went to Ed and said, cut the mayor out. And Ed told you he wasn't going to do that. You're the only one that presented to our media director to edit what you want edited.
You know, Mayor, you really like to stretch the truth.
Yes.
Ed, did she ask you, Ed?
I didn't say it.
Okay.
I asked that you put up information about the trustees giving that event as opposed to you grandstanding, that's your favorite word, grandstanding at the Winter Wonderland event, and the trustees put on that event. And I asked him to at least put our name on it, that we sponsored it, not yours, because you didn't sponsor it, that we did.
How did I grandstand? How did I?
And you know how, Mayor.
How did I
But,
grandstand
you know,
at the meet
you are who you are.
at the Winter Wonderland
keep
meeting?
you in prayer.
How did I grandstand? I walked in. Trustee Mohammed said, "Here comes the mayor. The mayor's here." I went over to the popcorn machine over there and started passing out popcorn. How's that grandstanding? And you wanted to edit me out on that. Which was, I mean, if we did
That's
that.
not the truth, Mayor. Stick, you know, I told you before
got the
that you
video.
have a tendency of lying.
We got the video.
You just lying.
We have the video.
Okay? I know you have it because we don't have it. We couldn't even get a copy of it.
That's not true.
It is true.
Did you ask for a copy?
Mayor, if I
What you
can.
think?
Can I be recognized?
Let's move
Mayor?
on.
I'd like to be recognized for discussion, Mayor.
Go ahead, trustee.
Okay, I want to get back to the beginning. I agree 100% with Trustee House, which was the reason for the formalization of this resolution. True, we did have a resolution previous to this that I had Attorney Murphy to write up, but we had to put teeth into this because what we're trying to do is to remove the politicization of the media center. That's basically what we're trying to do. We're asking for access, not only for the trustees, but some of the residents also, those neighbors who have a good, solid block club, to start highlighting some of the block clubs of our village, to highlight the Invest in Dalton program. But as you know, Mayor, with Section 2 and 3, it overrides, or it actually, as it reads, Section 2 of this resolution, or I'm sorry, this resolution. Any policy or resolution of the Village of Dalton which conflicts with the provisions of this resolution shall be and is hereby repealed to the extent of such conflict. Section 3, this resolution shall take effect upon its passage and approval in the manner provided by law. Now, I want to state something here that you just mentioned, because this is not our intent in doing this, is reprimanding any employee. If you read the last paragraph, it says, in the event the trustees are denied access in violation of this resolution, the trustees may seek all legal remedies available to them, including legal and disciplinary action. Any officer or employee who fails to assist any trustee in their request to access any media resources of the village as provided above shall be considered to have committed insubordination and shall be subject to disciplinary action. Now, let me expound on that. Without mentioning any names, Mayor, I was told by employees that they could not put certain things on our website or Channel 499 because of you. I won't mention those persons' name in this meeting.
Why don't you mention the names?
It's not necessary. They know who they are, and we're not about bringing...
Because...
Mayor, can I have the floor, please?
Go ahead.
I'm not about bringing any employee's name up, but it's already spelled out, the department heads of those individuals involved. Now, when you say, according to the Public Meetings Act, you say there was no editing done, yes, there has. My background is television. I'm the person that you're referring to that had the media center that trained the young man that you have right now as the media director. Okay? Now, have there been editing done? Yes, they were done at the public address. There was editing done at a coffee with the mayor with an individual who had a complaint about the police department, and there was some editing done with our Chief Collins. Chief Collins is very well aware of it. And that's not a problem, but we have to make the residents aware that when they have some context in a meeting, that they should be informed that, just so you know, you had some issues concerning the coffee with the mayor, and we edited material that would complement our police department, which we should do. So to say that things were not edited is not true. To say that we have been denied access to the media, and media is not only Channel 499, Mayor, it is also the website, the Facebook, it's also the email blast, which you said in a previous meeting that the emails belong to you, which is not true. Those emails and that contact information was gathered by public events that were held by the Village of Dalton. So again, I agree with Trustee House that we have some policies and procedures in place with this resolution number 18R-003 so that we can put some teeth in the previous ordinance or resolution because it was not being followed. So there is a motion on the floor and a second, and I'd like to have a vote by calling the question.
Second.
The media center is run by the mayor's office. I don't think we've ever denied access, and this proves it. This proves it. Your things have been on Channel 4 and 99.
You're not referring to me, are you, Mayor?
You just got through talking, didn't you?
Well, there are quite a few things that didn't go up, and I don't think you want to get into the minutia of detail on that. I would suggest
we can get
that
into
call
whatever
the
you want to
question,
get
and
into.
There's been a second.
We can get into whatever you like to get into, Trustee
I'd like
Muhammad.
to expedite this meeting, Mayor, by calling the question.
Okay.
And there's been a second.
Right, so let me finish. The media center is ran by the mayor's office. And basically, we told you exactly, in my media director, a communication person, there's a process for utilizing the media center. And they said, it goes through the mayor's office. We haven't denied you access. So why don't you just take the vote?
On the motion to approve resolution number 18R003, Trustee Muhammad.
Aye.
Trustee Stubbs.
Aye.
Trustee House.
Abstain.
Trustee Denton.
Aye.
Trustee Pearson.
Aye.
Trustee Henyard.
Aye.
Motion carried, 5 ayes. Next thing on the agenda is ordinance number 18-002, amending section 1-8-1 of the Dalton Village Code with respect to the hiring and termination of employees. Trustee Muhammad. Oh, take that back. Let's get a motion first. The amending of section 1-8-1.
I move to approve ordinance number 18-002, amending section 181 of the Dalton Village Code with respect to the hiring and termination of employees.
Second.
Okay. It's been motioned and seconded to amend ordinance number 18-002, amending section 1-8-1 of the Dalton Village Code. Any discussion?
Yes, sir. Can I have the floor, please?
Go ahead.
This ordinance requires the Board of Trustees to approve the hiring, and the amount of their initial salary shall be approved by the Board of Trustees. It also requires that the Board of Trustees be provided with the resumes and any additional information compiled by the village for all applicants prior to the board's approval. This is necessary to ensure that the previously approved hirings are complied with, to ensure that salary costs are being contained, and to ensure that qualified persons are being hired. This ordinance also grants to employees other than appointed officers and employees covered by a collective bargaining agreement the ability to appeal their firing to the Board of Trustees. As we have previously discussed tonight, the mayor has been directing employees to carry out actions that are in his interest only and not in the village's interest. Employees need to know that if the mayor directs them to act in an illegal or improper manner, they have recourse to the village board if they refuse his direction.
Okay.
In case
Go ahead,
of
go
Murphy
finish.
or mayor states you can't do, trustees, legislative council states we can. We want to ensure that our residents gets a fair opportunity for employment.
You know, Trustee, you got a way of putting words in my mouth that I didn't say. You're amending this section, and I think you really amended it for yourselves because you took my power away for hiring and firing before already. You know, I have not hired anybody since you changed it before, other than a couple of people that Trustee Stubbs wanted me to hire. She wanted me to hire Larry, who works up front there part-time. She said to help him pay his rent,
Stop lying.
and she wanted me
Stop
to hire.
lying on me, Mayor. Larry been sitting up here, Mr. Bradley been sitting up here
and she want,
for I don't know how. Stop, I told you about lying on me.
Can I finish? Can I finish?
I told you about lying
Can I
on me.
finish? And you wanted me to hire Carlton Higgins in Public Works.
Stop lying. That was your pick.
Because he
That's
was
your friend.
Because he was a
That
tenant
was your
too.
friend.
Because he
Stop
was a
lying on me.
He was a tenant too in
Mayor.
your apartment building.
Mayor.
And you asked
Stop
me
lying
to
on
hire
me.
him so they could pay their rent.
Man, stop lying on me. You ought to be ashamed of yourself.
Aren't they tenants?
I hope this is being taped.
Aren't they tenants?
Stop lying on me.
Aren't they tenants?
No, they're not my tenants. Are they yours? You have so many houses.
Ask Larry.
I don't know.
Ask Larry where he lives at.
He's been living there.
Those are the only two
Stop
people.
lying on me, Mayor.
Those
your pigs.
Those were
Come
the
on
only,
now, stop lying on me. I told you about lying on me. You special.
Those were the only two people that I was allowed to hire, and she agreed to.
Point of order.
So at any
You
rate,
need to stop
and so
lying.
at
I
any
hope
rate-
this is being videoed.
It is being videoed.
Okay, because because I told him he was a compulsive liar, and I done told him about lying on me, because you're gonna reap what you sow. Keep lying.
So at any rate,
That was a good one. Thank you, Mayor, for that one. That was a good one. Thank you for making me laugh.
they tenants in your place. That was the only two
Mayor.
people I was allowed to hire.
Mayor. I know
So-
all of my tenants.
we wanna
My
get
building
back.
only
I wanna get
have
back.
3 units.
I wanna get back.
It can't hold all of them, Mayor. But I thank you so much.
Trustee.
You need to stop lying on me. I done
Trustee.
already told you
Trustee.
about that. But you're gonna read what you sow. Stay tuned.
I didn't go there, trustee, when you decided to talk about me. So calm down.
Okay.
Calm down, trustee. Calm down. Calm down. Now, the Board of Trustees wants to disapprove. The Board of Trustees wants to disapprove on terminations that were done, that were not done by me. They were done by our Human Resources Department when she bought evidence of whatever it was that she had made the determination that they should have been terminated because they had violated policy, whether it was late policy, some other policies, and they were terminated. So I'm saying here, you took my authority to hire and fire, and now you're changing this part about the firing, and I don't do the firing, I don't do the hiring, other than those other two that you want me to hire. But okay, any further discussion on this? Okay.
One comment, please.
Go ahead.
On this one, I just don't have any desire to be in the hiring or firing process. I want to defer that to the human resources representative and the department heads for the for what they're doing.
Thank you.
Let me respond to that, if you would, Mayor.
Go ahead.
That is one of the departments, by the way, that has been tainted with this politicization that we're talking about. Yes, sir.
Y'all hired her.
Mayor, again, I'll say it again. You can speak over me if you like. I won't get in that tit and tat with you like Trustee Stubbs would. I'm just going to state the facts to you. Okay, it's okay. You can hit me. It's all right. Take it out on me. But our Human Resources Department is at the beckoning call of you, Mayor. So therefore, we're trying to put a policy and procedure in place to remove the politicization of this village. You know, if you want something different, you got to do something different. And I agree with Trustee House. It should come through the Human Resources Department. But every request that we have had with the Human Resources Department, the response has been, see the mayor.
What's wrong with that?
That's exactly what we're talking about.
When-
And then when we see you, Mayor, vis-a-vis electronically, there's no response from you. Case in point. And it is your pick, but it's by advice and consent of the board. We are in need of a village administrator. We have asked, can we see the applications and the resumes of those village administrators, which we sorely need at this time. We have no one that the department heads can go to at this point. It is sorely needed. We have talked to department heads, and they all have pleaded the same thing. We need a department head that all the department heads can go to, which would be the village administrator. In the meantime, it's been this young lady here who's been doing a yeoman's job, Janice Johnson, Yvonne Redmond, as I mentioned before. And of course, Angela, she's tried to do the best she can, but again, any questions that we may have, she refers them to your office. And that's all we're trying to do, is get a policy and procedure in place to remove the politicization of this village. Because I'm tired of these residents say, I'm tired of you all fighting with the mayor. What are you doing? So we're trying to put some policies and procedures, some resolutions and ordinances in place to bring revenue into this village. We're trying to put people in homes that are abandoned properties, that are foreclosed properties, so they can be on the tax roll, so we can collect money to pay our water bills. We have a very important meeting after this today in the closed meeting session concerning our water bill. And the attorney is probably chomping at the bit so we can go ahead and resolve this most important issue. But in order for us to resolve these issues, Mayor, we have to bring revenue to in this village, and we can't be stopped by the politicization that's happening in this village. And that's the only reason for this. It's not to take away your power. It is not the power. It is the power of the people. This is a government for and by the people. It's not for and by the mayor. It's a board of trustees here for a check and balance. There's a number of votes. It's called democracy. Even though we live in a republic, it's a democracy, and you're not going to run this by fiat. So there are votes involved, Mayor. And if you want to get votes on your side, you have to talk to the trustees. You got to pick up the phone. You got to pick up. This is a wonderful device.
Trustee.
Pick it up. Call me. Text.
Trustee. First of all, I'm going to say that's a two-way street. Secondly, I'm going to say this. You've been one of the main reasons this village has not gathered revenue that we should have gathered. And when our village administrator left, and I said we needed a village administrator, and I want to recall what you said. Janice Johnson and our finance person was the village administrator. And then not only that, Trustee Pearson, we're paying our village administrator $100,000. Then Trustee Pearson said, you know what, we're going to go back to paying $78,000. And now,
that's not true.
Okay.
I'd like to respond to that, Mayor, because that's all inaccurate.
Why don't you let me finish? Why don't you let me finish? Did you or did not say that they were the village administrators?
You want to have a
we got it on tape. We didn't edit it.
Dialogue, or is that a rhetorical question?
We got it on tape. We didn't edit it.
I'll tell you exactly what I said.
Secondly,
okay, it's a rhetorical question.
You talk about our water bills. You know, sure, we owe the city of Chicago close to $8 million, and we got to figure out a way to pay it. Now, and I agree with you. We do need a village administrator. And I think that should have been taken into consideration before we tried to pay somebody $30,000 to get these houses.
Okay, Mayor, can I respond to your inaccuracies, please? Thank you so much.
Okay.
It is true.
Go ahead.
It is true at a recent board meeting when we did not have a village administrator, I said, and I'll say it again, that Ms. Janice Johnson right here, Ms. Yvonne Redmond are doing a yeoman's job in place of a village administrator, which we do not have. And the point of me bringing it up is because I went to our human resources person. I said, we need to put an ad out so that we can get a village administrator. But in the meantime, they've been holding it down since I believe it's been July of last year. And I stick with that. Also, you mentioned, Mayor, that maybe we should get a part-time village administrator because of finances, which can be a topic of discussion that we can have in closed session. I have no problem with that, but we got to at least discuss it. But when you say that trustee said something about $78,000, I don't think it was Trustee Pearson that said that. You talked about a salary. Whatever that salary is, we negotiate with that salary. But right now, we are in need of a village administrator.
I agree with you. We could have did that.
We're saying the same thing then.
When the village administrator left, you elected to sign him back on as a consultant for several months. It was only supposed to be for a couple of months, and you extended it. And what was the reason for doing that? The reason you said for doing it was the fact that it was unfinished business, and it had to continue to go forward. So you signed him on as continuing as a consultant. I knew then when he left that we needed a village administrator, and I said that. Now, it seems like the board, and I'm not saying all members of the board, that they want to do things, it's an emergency situation when we should have did it in advance, and we didn't. Now, all of a sudden, now we need a village administrator. We needed it before. When you talk about human resource person down there, here again, Trustee Stubbs recommended her. Remember,
I didn't even know the lady. You brought her to my attention. Stop playing, Mayor. Here we go again. Okay, I'll take the blame. We're going to play your silly game. So come on, because you are a compulsive liar. You good. Right. You in the wrong field. Sure. You really need to be on a comedy show.
Whatever you say. But as you recall, you was part of the people that took my power away where I can't hire and fire. I'll be honest with you. There's some people around
You
here that
needed it taken away, Mayor, so you wouldn't spend up all the money. Say thank you.
Point of order, can we move on?
Point of information, Mayor, concerning your statement
Can I
about...
finish, trustee? Thank you. And there should be some people around here that should be fired. I can't fire them. I can't fire them. I don't have no power to fire them. I can't.
Oh, Mayor,
I can't.
stop, please.
Look, what does the ordinance say? What do you mean stop? It's in writing. It's in writing. It's in writing. There's been no other mayor, and there is no other mayor in any of these towns that's had an ordinance put against them like that. The previous mayors here has never had an ordinance put in like that. So what does that tell you? It's directed towards me.
Mayor, can I be recognized,
Go ahead,
please?
trustee.
You made two inaccurate statements.
Oh, here we go.
I can't let you say something that's not true, Mayor, and not address
You've been
it.
saying stuff that's not been true all night.
No, and thank God we're recording for the record. You mentioned about us extending a contract with Mr. Urban. The reason for the extension of his contract was to close the business of the Dorchester Senior Care Facility. He was in the midst of contracting, which we closed that deal, and we received some money from that, and I think we get our final payment in June. Also, he was instrumental in helping us close the deal with the loan for the IEPA loan for our water, so that we can get water meters in town. So Urban was extended.
Never closed.
I beg your pardon?
That never closed.
Okay.
Because there was
Again,
misguided and wrong information that was submitted to IEPA.
Again, that's still in the process. And
No, it's not.
It's still in the process, Mayor.
No, it's not.
Mayor, I don't want to go back and forth. I just want to state the facts, and then you can disagree afterwards. I just want to have the floor to complete my point. What I was saying, Mayor, there were some things that Mr. Urban helped us to close deals on, and that was it. He was extended for a period of time. Mr. Urban is retired. He's not associated with this village, and that's what he was needed for. But now that you bring up Mr. Urban, if that's what you want to do, as you know, Mayor, you and I, me and you, had conversations about Mr. Urban, that I had lost my confidence. I had no vote of confidence for Mr. Urban. And I came to you, Mayor Riley Rogers, that you need to let this man go immediately. And your response to me was the following: Trustee, we cannot get rid of this man right now. He would sabotage this village. I said, Mayor, if you got a man who's the village administrator that would sabotage his village, you need to get rid of him right now. I said, what do you mean sabotage the village? You said, well, he has all the accounts. And besides, he's retiring next May. So, let's let him just stay on. I say, Mayor, I'm totally against that. And almost 90% of the board members on this board right now would agree with me that we were not in agreement of Mr. Stan Urban being the village administrator that you wanted to keep on this board. And you and I had it, and I'll go into your memory bank in case you forget. We were burying our former fire chief, Hughes. We were at his memorial service when you and I had this hard talk over a casket of Chief Hughes. And I told you we need to get rid of this man, and I told you and him he should not put my minister's name in his mouth. And you know what I'm referring to, and we have an employee here that she can bear witness to this because she told me this, and immediately I had a meeting with you and Mr. Urban that this man needs to be walked out of this building right now. So you know my feeling on Mr. Urban.
Okay.
Now, you cannot deny anything that I've just said,
Okay.
Mr. Mayor.
Okay. Well, if your feelings was that strong on Mr. Urban, and you said we had this conversation, why'd you vote to hire him as a consultant?
First of all, we wanted to fire him.
And continue to vote to hire him as a
Let me
consultant.
answer your question. I'll answer your question. We wanted to fire the man. We had closed meeting session. It's your appointment, Mayor. The trustees cannot let a head of a department go. We had advice and consent. You chose to keep the man on board.
So after he left, you had the power, and your trustees that rolled along with you, to not go along with his consulting contract. And you voted on it, not only to go along with it, but you also voted on it to renew it. So if you felt that hard that he shouldn't have been here, why'd you vote to retain him?
I'll state it again. I said was to close the deal on the Dorchester. that he had a relationship with the owners of the Dorchester, which you did not. You came to this board and claimed there was a $7 million offer. There's no public record that there's a $7 million offer for the Dorchester that you claim, but it was Mr. Urban that was able to close that deal for us, and I'll stand on that. It has nothing to do with me liking him or disliking him. He had a relationship with the persons that were buying the Dorchester, and I call for question.
There's,
I call the question.
We can document the fact.
Attorney
We call the question, Attorney Murphy.
Trustee,
There's no more
Trustee, we
discussion.
can document the fact that there was a $7 million offer. So.
No, it's not in the public record, Mayor. You know
We got it. We got it.
Okay, don't worry about it.
All right, is there a vote on the floor? Motion on the floor?
Motion by Trustee Muhammad, second by Trustee Pearson to approve ordinance number 18-002. Trustee Muhammad.
Aye.
Trustee Stubbs.
Aye.
Trustee House.
No.
Trustee Denton.
Aye.
Trustee Pearson.
Aye.
Trustee Henry.
Aye.
Motion carried, 5 ayes. Okay, next thing on the agenda is approval of engagement letter with Lauterbach and Amon LLP auditors.
I make a motion to approve the amendment. I'm sorry, let me rephrase that, Clerk. I make a motion to approve the engagement letter with Lauterbach and Amon, the auditors for the Village of
Second.
Dalton.
Okay, it's been motioned and seconded to approve the engagement letter with Lauterbach and Amon. Those are our village auditors. Any discussion? Roll call.
Trustee Muhammad.
Aye.
Trustee Stubbs.
Aye.
Trustee House.
Aye.
Trustee Denton.
Aye.
Trustee Pearson.
Aye.
Trustee Henry.
Aye.
Motion carries. Next thing on the agenda is the mayor's report. I only have a couple of things to mention. Is that we will be going into closed session in regards to the delinquency amount that we owe the city of Chicago, which is close to $8 million. I think this week they had contacted our office, our finance office, said they had overbilled us close to $1 million, so we will be gathering, getting that refunded to us, or actually being applied towards our bill. Next thing on the agenda is citizens' address. Anybody want to address this body can come forward. I ask you to keep it to about 3 minutes. How you doing, Pat?
Good, Mayor. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
I was at home watching it live because I wasn't going to come to the meeting because I'm tired of coming to the meeting. And I said, when it got down to the reports, I said, this is going to be a hot mess. So let me go down here and speak what I have to say. I did have a question on Ordinance 17048. I just wanted to know, is there an actual copy of this ordinance? Is there something that says what it actually consists of? As Trustee Stubbs, I believe, was reading all of that eloquently, but if she has it, I don't have it. So only thing I can go by is what you said. So if I could read it myself, maybe everybody sitting out here can agree to it. Trustee Henry is absolutely right. If you're going to approve $30,000 for something, I need to know. And the reason why I'm looking at you, Trustee Muhammad, is because it has your name on it as to present it. So if you can answer that question, is there something that's written on that?
Yes, ma'am. All of the ordinance will be published, so there is an ordinance. As far as this invoice that they're making reference to, it did appear on what we call a warrant list. So the $30,000 invoice does exist. It was on a warrant list, and then it was removed from the warrant list. So to answer your question, yes,
Okay.
both are. And you can see any of this information on the website, Vetoed.
Right.
If you go to, which you and I had a discussion almost
Right.
a year ago, the transparency ordinance. This
Exactly.
is why that's so important, what you're bringing up, that you can go on the website and see all of this.
Okay.
Hopefully you'll see the minutes, you'll see the ordinance, you'll see the resolutions, but they are under the government tag of the ordinance, of the transparency ordinance.
Okay. Trustee Denton, I just had a question for you. Why did you vote no, not to send it back to the committee?
My feelings were...
Turn your mic on, please.
My feelings were, we have been through this before, we have discussed this before, I have witnessed what this company can do, and I don't see any need to be going back and forth. So I feel strongly about my decision that I made.
Okay, I just wanted to ask you because I know normally the meeting is controlled by a few, and you rarely say anything because your face is like, what did I get myself into? So I do respect your opinion, but I just wanted to know why, because you, like I said, you rarely say anything, but you know that's acceptable. One last thing before I get dinged, on the media center. And when you say past practice, we talk about the media center. What happened to the newspaper? Because remember when you guys got involved with that, then you were given permission to write your articles, but you had to present them by a certain deadline. So I don't know if that deadline has come and gone, but we haven't seen a newspaper in I don't know how long. Everybody in the village does not have cable, but they do get the flyers, or they love that newspaper, and that newspaper was full of information. So does anybody know what happened to the newspaper? Because I know it was a passion of the mayor. So the only thing that we think is because this stuff goes on is so vindictive. When words come out of your mouth, you spew venom. And we lose the important things that you say in translation because your face just gives it up. Like it's a personal thing that's going on. We're here about the business, not concerned about whether you like each other now, don't care about that, because this is politics and you're supposed to fight with each other. That's perfectly okay. But when it gets to be too repetitious, it gets to be too long, you lose me. So one quick question, then I'm going to get out of line and get back at the end of the line because I had another question I wanted to ask. So has there been anything said about bringing the newspaper back?
Nope.
Crickets?
No. You know, I think when the newspaper was cut out the budget, you know, they said, oh, the mayor, he's got his picture on every page. You don't let us get in the picture, in the paper. And then, so I held up the paper with Trustee Pearson's picture in about 6 pages, and which was another false thing, like they're saying with the media center. We didn't let them get in the paper, so they cut it out because they figured it's my way of communicating with the people. But one of the reasons that we generated that paper was, from the very beginning when he came into office, was the very fact, what you said, Pat, was that the fact that everybody does not and cannot afford cable. So a lot of the people want to do it the old-fashioned way. If we got communication out, and we did it in response to what we were doing in the community, let the people know what we're doing in the community. You know, and now, you know, people say, well, you're not doing anything. If they don't have cable, they think we're not doing anything. But I think it's a form of to cut communication out.
Okay, well, hopefully, you know, that'll come back again. And so far,
Time is 3 minutes is up, ma'am.
okay, I'll be
Pat.
back.
Good evening. I have to kind of shake my head. I had an opportunity this afternoon to go over the YouTube video from the special meeting that was held on the 23rd. I'm very disappointed that a special meeting was held at 4 o'clock on a Friday afternoon. I have a job, okay? So I'm a little insulted that you will host a meeting. I don't know all the ins and outs on why and how you come up with these times, but I looked at the meeting and I felt that I wanted to be present. I can't leave my job to come and do these meetings. So Monday evening, 6:30, you can get me most times. So I would hope that when you host these special meetings, that you consider the residents, because these meetings are for us. It's not just for you guys, it's for us. So that's number one. Number two, thank you so much, Trustee Hinyard. I too think that this should have gone back to Housing Committee. That's her committee, she should host it, and we should be a part of it. So the best interest of this village is for the residents. It's not for you guys. It's not just solely for you all. And it does feel as though there's another agenda. You have BP Capital, you have Invest in Dalton, and now you have Pro-Champs. How many people does it take to screw in a light bulb? I think what needs to happen is you really need to consider a strategic plan on how you're going to address your housing issues. You got too many things going on, and it really is not rocket science. You just got to get the right people in place. And you don't have to pay a whole lot of money to do it. You really don't. You just have to find the right resources. And if the resource comes from the mayor, it's not always all bad. But what I do know is all money ain't good money, so while people are telling you and feeding you these stories about what they can do, you really need to do your homework. And I've said that before, and I'll say it again. And I want to know, what benefit is Pro Champs going to bring to the Village of Dalton? What's the benefit? Who voted on it? Who made the decision?
Well, we all looked at it.
So what was the benefit for you?
The benefit for me was that
Turn your mic on.
we were going to get property registration. It was going to bring approximately $400 per house. I had in here when my computer was on that South Holland, who uses them, recouped $69,000. We had figures. They sent us a letter of what Calumet City has gotten. Calumet Park so far, South Holland so far, and there were 2 other communities. And when it was brought to this village, I think about a year ago,
They only had one person in Illinois. They only represented one person in Illinois. And
I was talking, but
Well,
we'll let him answer.
Here's what I know, Trustee Pearson. Most of you all know who I'm associated with, so what I'm going to do is go to these villages, and I'm going to find out exactly what their experience has been with Pro Champs, because I had no idea we were considering it. Other than, if I had, I would have brought information to the Housing Committee to say this is what I know. So I think we need to really consider bringing in the residents on the decisions you're making, because it's going to impact us. These are my tax dollars. I'm not an advocate for paying $30,000 to pay someone $5,000 to file. I know it doesn't cost that much, and so do you guys.
Are you talking
I'm talking general. So, no, I'm not talking Pro Champs. I'm talking Bass now, because we got so many people in this game that we got to keep up with who's making money. So it really stands to me to think, what's the true agenda here? Because is it really the residents of Dalton? Is it really the village of Dalton? Because I'm tired of all of this. I am. Because I know it doesn't take all this to get these houses sold. You really just need to sit down and do a plan that's going to be comprehensive and something that can be done. You got too many people playing in this game, and they're going to take advantage of us. They really are.
Pro Champs wasn't invest in Dalton. Pro Champs was simply to recoup money.
I get
because last 2 years we paid Fathers and Blessings $150,000 to cut grass.
So should we learn from our mistakes,
well,
then?
That's what we're trying to do. We're trying to bring in revenue to offset that cost.
So can we do this in a committee meeting so we can actually have a real conversation and bring about what's the benefits for Dalton? Because as I see it from where I stand, this is not it.
Ma'am, your time is up now.
Okay. No, it really isn't. Not when my tax dollars are being messed with.
And you have the experience in housing.
I do. Yes, she does.
Good evening, everybody. I want to apologize for bursting out. That's PTSD in me. Excuse me. Secondly, I wanted to kind of speak to the Village of Dalton personally. This is why on the next election, we need debates. We need to vet these people. We need to get people who can articulate a sentence so we can understand what's going on. We need to understand what their backgrounds are. We don't need this anymore. Not anymore, because I'm tired and I'm fed up, but that's not the reason I'm up here. I'm up here again for the Children's Community Center, because it don't take me to write a letter to the mayor or anything, because this is now over 1.5 years that this information has been available. And just so all of you will know how this information came about to me, I had an interest in the Children's Community Center. And it wasn't until last year that I found out the $80,000 that was used to pay for the Children's Community Center, it never got built. Nothing, never, you ain't even heard no other conversation about it. But our $80,000 is gone. And the person who has that, it has nothing to do with the construction worker. It has to do with the people who voted this information in there. What they're doing with your money, what you now have to start looking at. People out there in Dalton, start paying attention. But I would like to know what's going on with our community center. You, Trustee Pearson, of all people, who tried to shut the basketball thing down after 6 o'clock, you should be more concerned than anyone. Where is our children's community center? Our children need places to go after school, not just to a basketball court, but there's other things that can be done in the community center. Where is our community center for our children? Please, I don't need to hear any more crickets.
I think the best person to answer that is Trustee Muhammad. He was over that committee, and he authorized most of the money to be spent there.
Thank you, Mayor. I know you got your own selfish agenda, but you can't answer that, Trustee Muhammad. What's going on?
That's not my agenda. That's fact, ma'am. That's fact.
Yes. Let me make a correction. It wasn't 80, it was approximately
63,000. I have the information.
You want me to answer you? I'll answer you with no problem. What happened is, when the construction was taking place, the mayor had...
no, he had to throw me in there.
I'd love to answer your question. The mayor had...
We just want to know what happened to our money.
I'm trying to answer the question, if the mayor would quit interrupting. He shut it down because of the lead abatement and asbestos abatement. Right now, there's currently a young lady that's interested in putting a women's shelter in it, but we can't say publicly right now because she's trying to get a lead abatement service to remove the lead, and she will recoup all the monies that needs to be done for that. It's in the planning stages. It's nothing permanent right now. That's why you haven't heard anything. But to answer your question, number one, it was approximately $60,000. It was shut down because of lead and asbestos, and it's currently now being looked at an individual who does halfway houses and women's shelters and feeding the homeless. I can't go into too much information because a lot of it's confidentiality.
Well, I certainly hope it ain't the same person that's doing the building for the women and children shelter that was supposedly have been doing it for the children's center, because that still didn't answer my question. The main thing was, again, we want to know what happened. And I understand you said that basically because it was shut down because of asbestos. Now, if this was a children's center, for one, the first thing a contractor, because I don't even think the contractor, when I did the FOIA request, I don't even think he was RFP'd. Anyway, but here's the thing. A contractor that's building a children's community center, don't get me wrong, I'm not brilliant at construction, but I know the first thing you're going to check for in a community, a children's community center, is mold and asbestos. You don't wait till you get a quarter or even halfway in the middle of the game to then decide that, oh, there's asbestos here. That's the first thing. You open up the walls to see what's going on. So the answer that you're giving me is not the answer that we're waiting to hear. We want to know, when is our community center going to be put up for our children? Where's this money coming from? Because we shouldn't have to pay for it twice. That's on the second. My other thing is, and I'll get back to that later because I know my 3 minutes is about up, it's about staying urban. Again, this pro-champ thing, and like you said that you had the information, he's no longer there. Why are we interested or dealing with anyone who had dealings with Stan Urban, and you know the type of person that he is or was? Crickets again? Incredible. No, don't clap for that. That's not nothing to clap for. This is serious.
Good evening, trustees, the mayor, village officials, and citizens of Dalton. First, I want to start off with a little good news because we could use some after this debacle tonight. First of all, Home Depot is doing a hiring event starting Wednesday at 10 a.m. at every single store in the state of Illinois. All you have to do is walk in, they'll interview you, and they'll be doing some hiring on the spot. So if you got somebody at home laying on your couch, this job has benefits. It's not the highest salaries in the world, but it beats some of the jobs out here. This Wednesday coming up, day after tomorrow, if you could direct direct people to Home Depot. If they're panhandling, send them to Home Depot, get a job. Okay, also, the National Urban League on 45th in Michigan is also having a workshop to teach people how to apply for state jobs. A lot of people go into these Illinois state offices, and these are really good jobs with excellent benefits, and you can live anywhere in the state. And they will give you a workshop, give you a leg up, introduce you to people. They will do everything but write the check for you and pay you, because they had a partnership with the state of Illinois. And now, as far as tonight's proceedings, I think most of us will agree that it was a debacle. I think that this personalization is absolutely ridiculous. There is no need to personalize and bring residents into this or bring people's personal business into this. To the ones that did not engage in that, I applaud you. To the ones that did, and you know who you are, you should be ashamed of yourselves. That's just straight up from the heart. I've been living in Dalton since 1989, and I'm getting, I keep saying this, I'm really getting fed up with this, but I'm way past that now. I really don't know what the solution is, but at some point, some of you all are going to have to realize that you're working for us. If you don't have personal problems, why don't you take that crap back in the back? Okay? Why do we have to sit up here and look at you all act like a bunch of damn fools? The ones that did it, and you know who you are. Enough is enough. Now, as far as the thing with Attorney Murphy, I understand that the Southtown Economist has done some stories on this. If you all have information that says that he shouldn't be doing this or shouldn't be doing that, shouldn't that be available to all the residents? And on the other side of that coin, we need to know the cost of the litigation that's going to take place if this moves forward with the lawsuit. Because if we already $8 million in the hole, I mean, how much? We don't have the money for this. And if it's going to be years and years of litigation, we are really, basically, we're going to be looking at a government takeover. You're going to look like the city of Michigan, not the city of Michigan, the state of Michigan, with places like Detroit and Flint and so forth. Every last one of you all are going to lose your jobs. Maybe that will spur you all to start acting professionally. I'm not talking about everybody. I'm talking about the ones that engage in this crap. Okay? Because the city managers are going to come in, they're going to make recommendations, and they're going to do it. We're going to lose what little voice we have, because you all seem to forget we have a voice in some of this. But this information that you all have concerning the attorneys and the cost of possible litigation, all that stuff should be available. Those numbers should be available to all of us. You all can look at page 3, page 4, page 5, but we can't follow and make an intelligent decision without the proper information. So all these numbers are thrown back and forth, and the charges against this person or that person, and attorneys coming into our village texting the people on the board, that needs to stop.
So your time is up now.
Good evening, everybody. I have a couple questions. First question is, I was at the Dalton Library other night, and I was terrified. The whole parking lot was black. So are there something to be done about the lights? No lights at all.
Okay. Georgia, the the library board is separate from us. I don't know why the parking lot was dark. Matt, why don't you check into that? We don't actually maintain their lights over there. But I can ask them to check in. If they need some assistance to get the lights on, we can do that.
All right, thank you. And my next question is, when is the next trustee election? When?
The primary is about a year away.
Okay, because
in next February, about a year away, and signatures will start gathering signatures in October.
Okay, and I'm not talking for myself because I don't want it, but I'm disappointed with picking people, working for people to come out here and represent us, and this is what we get. I don't come to the meeting. I used to come to all the meetings, so I limit myself to once a month. But I did not come out here tonight to hear all this bickering back and forth. If you're going to do it, go behind the wall. That's not what we come here for. In the snow. My car was washed. My car's messed up in the snow. And I got to come out here and hear this. This is unfair to us. All this personal matter, leave it behind. Take it behind the wall. I mean, all this bickering, biting, and it's just stupid. You act like kids instead of adults. And the election, when it's time for election, I will be out there with my boots on because I do not appreciate the service that we be getting from our trustee. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm going to be with you too.
Just want to be in order. Ordinance 1802. So, as a citizen of this village, I've lived here for 35 years, and a lot of folks don't know, but I am a proud employee of the village of Dalton. I've been trying to hide that because I don't want to be attacked by people, but I do work for the village. And with all due respect to the mayor and the trustees, I would not want to hold my future in your hands because I know you are not fair. You sit on that 4-2 split. Sometimes some may have an opinion that may not vest it. You get the 1-2 nomination. I put it on the floor. We already know who's going to second it. So this is possibly a conversation that you guys have together. You don't have it in 6s. You have it in 2s or 3s. So somebody makes a decision. So why would I want, well, nothing I can do about it, but I just need for you to hear what, as an employee, that I think, and I don't think that you would be fair, because if you want to get back at the mayor, you're going to do something to the employees that are here. And you're holding us responsible for things that, and I had to write it down so I wouldn't forget, the defective system. And I think Trustee Muhammad brought this up once before about the, I don't know what you call it, but when you take care of everything that's gone wrong, like with the streets, sanitation, and all that stuff, I can't think of the term right now, but I don't want to be a part of something that if everybody can't agree on, then you got that 4-2 block. So like I said, with all due respect, please reconsider that or take a look at that ordinance again. I don't know if you can or you can't, but we will be looking at you about that. The system needs to be fixed first.
I want to mention one thing before this gentleman comes up. I forgot to mention the Coffee with the Mayor this Saturday coming up. Our Cook County Board President, Tony Preckwinkle, will be there. She can only stay a half an hour. She'll be there from 8:30 a.m. to 9 a.m. So if anyone wanted to come out and meet your Cook County Board President, you can do so. Also, we have a young lady there that's going to speak in regards to diabetes. She works with the University of Illinois. So just want to bring that up. Starts at 8:30. President Preckman will be there at 8:30 to 9 o'clock. Go ahead.
Good evening. Quick resource. The Illinois Legislative Black Caucus Foundation, if you don't know, it's made up of all the African American state legislatures here in the state of Illinois. It's the Illinois Legislative Black Caucus. Every year they have what's called their foundation scholarship, in which they give upwards of $62,000 to college students. Starting at their they can apply at their sophomore year, they will get a $1,000 scholarship. You can go on ilbcf.org. That's ilbcf.org. And I think the applications are due by the end of April. I think April or May 1st. But make sure, because they do it every year. And you know, I know the legislature used to do a scholarship a couple of decades ago, but they stopped for whatever reason, but the caucus has put in money, has got money to give money to students who need it. I repeat, they give up upwards of $62,000, so usually about 60 to 62 awardees of a $1,000 scholarship. So you can apply. I think, yeah, if you're a sophomore in college, you can start. You can apply. Moving on, how much money? Let me rephrase that. How much is Dalton's debt in reference to our unpaid bills?
So, I don't mean to. Yeah, I was going to say I don't mean to avoid your question. On this one, I don't have the figure in front, but that's something I'll be happy to get back to if you would like.
Please, is there any way that whoever can give me that answer could take my email and provide that to me?
Yes, sir.
What are we doing, or are we going to do? What is the plan, the vision, the path for economic development in our village?
Currently, I've been meeting with people that wanted to start businesses here in the village, and I'm gonna be quite frank with you. So much negative information has been put out into the media that no one wants to come here, along with the property taxes. You know, when you talk about new construction and investments in starting businesses here, you're talking about a substantial amount of money to get things done. I'm in conversation right now with two big projects that that appear like they're going to be coming to Dalton. But it's hard with economic development in Dalton, I'll be quite honest with you. And not just in Dalton, but throughout Thornton Township due to the property taxes. And, you know, I was just down at the county board hearing last week in regards to the differences that the county wants to make in providing Class 8 to community. I think you were there, weren't you?
No, I know about it. I'm familiar. No.
Yeah, so one of the things were the prevailing wage. The county board does not want to approve Class 8 projects or Class 6B projects unless those contractors provide prevailing wages. Now, and the unions were there to support that, and there was, I think it was about close to 25 mayors there that said, and most of them were from the south suburbs, that said, hey, you know what, we got a problem in the south suburbs in regards to the property taxes, and it's hard for people that want to do projects and spend that kind of money, and they have to provide the prevailing wage. Now, I know everybody wants to get paid. We all think we work more than what we are in some cases, and we're all underpaid, but it would actually kill us if they did away with the Class 8 and Class 6B in the south suburbs, because we just don't have the industry to support those projects where they would actually bring in, you know, those laborers or construction people to build these things. So all us mayors was actually kind of against it, at least at this time, because we're struggling trying to, and everybody's having a problem with economic development in a lot of these areas in the south suburbs.
Does anybody else want to chime in on that question?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Mayor.
Yes. That's a very good question. One of the things you have to start with is a unified board. And I hear everybody talking about the bickering, a 4-2 split. And the way it works with the vote, you must have a majority in order to vote on anything, and that is 4-2. 3-3, it was a tie. As you know, the mayor breaks it. One of the things that we as trustees believe is that we have to get a hold of our housing stock. There is a disagreement we have in the Invest in Dalton program right now. There are different, as we just heard, schools of thought. We can all agree that there's a foreclosure and abandoned property issue in the village of Dalton. We have to bring our heads and our minds together to start putting people in those homes. And when you put people in those homes, they're going to look at the school. So it's a holistic problem. We have to work on getting those homes occupied with homeowners, not investors, people who have a mortgage like me and others on this board, who have been living here for an average of 30 years. After doing that, we have what's called the Sibley Corridor. That's from the Bishop Ford all the way west to about the McDonald's. I believe that's like the borderline. There are hundreds of thousands of cars that go in and out of the village of Dalton. When businesses see that we have a unified board, that we have a hold on our public safety, that we have a hold on our housing stock, we can solicit those businesses, like your Mariano's, like your Whole Foods. I don't know if you're familiar with 63rd and Halsted, where you have where Inglewood is coming back. They have a Whole Foods, they have a Chipotle, they have a Starbucks. They're doing these mini malls now. Those are the things that we're looking together as a board of trustees. So when you say, oftentimes you can't reveal all of the plans because it's in the works. But when you say that you're meeting with this person, that person, and it's not true, you don't want to put that out. But what we're doing is starting a holistic plan of, number one, getting a hold of our housing stock, and that's putting people in those homes that are abandoned and under foreclosure. So that's one of the steps, but it's many steps that we have to take in the revitalization of our downtown Dalton, which we're in right now. This is technically the downtown Dalton, but the Sibley Corridor is being hugely ignored right now, but we as a unified board has to get together to start rebuilding that corridor.
But when you get on TV and say 5 people shot, 5 people shot, it's happening everywhere. But it sends a signal of negativity in the village. And you get residents that say, I want to move out, and you get business that say, I don't want to move in. It happens everywhere, you know. And it happens next door in other these communities. But everybody seems to come in and target on Dalton. We have to toot our horn in regards to the good things that we do instead of the negative things that happen. And they happen everywhere. Don't think that these communities next door to us, I want to move here, are immune. They're not immune to it. It's just that the news media is not bought there.
Why don't we have a village administrator? Well, actually, backtrack. Is there a chief of staff?
Right here.
And your role as chief of staff is what?
That's on the schedule for the mayor.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I just recently was awarded the village $350,000.
Oh, yeah. She really doesn't have a one specific job.
I don't do one specific thing, but I'll name some of the things that I've done this year. Every single event that you've seen that's come out of the village of Dalton, with the exception of the Christmas toy giveaway, the bike ride event, I put together and I executed. Also, the Rain Ready Steering Committee, there was never a Rain Ready Steering Committee. I put that together to address flooding.
How much money did we get?
With the help of Sandra Wells and NHS, we put it out for through the Rain Ready Steering Committee. We were able to get $350,000. Is that correct? 14 homes at $25,000 apiece, at $22,000 apiece. So 22 homes. I'm sorry. So actually, that's more than 350. That might be around $400,000.
We're the #1 community to get assistance for our residents, to get the biggest grant to assist our residents in flooding.
So Robbins, for example, only got 1 home. I think South Holland got how many, Sandra? 4 or 5. So it was a big deal. That also happened. The Gospel Fest, I put that together. The 50-20 hiring program, that was the mayor's vision. I helped to execute that and put that together. Last year it had some issues because I got some, I was told that they wanted to do it a certain way, the trustees. They wanted me to put together, specifically Trustee Muhammad, he wanted me to put together a program that was very intensive, almost like a paper that he wanted me to put together within a matter of days, and I couldn't do it, so it ended up stalling the program. But I put that together. Also, anytime you file a complaint on the village website, that's me that answers that, and I give it to the correct department. I'm also head of over the department, so when the mayor's office, which we receive an inordinate amount of calls about complaints because we have 23,000 residents, I handle those calls. I go out to people's homes. I have probably 30 to 40 of these ledgers downstairs that I keep, that I try to keep track of everyone. I go out to homes and I handle problems. When there's problems within the various departments and they've complained about about people in the departments. I solve those problems, I look into it, and I research the problems.
That's enough. That's
yeah.
enough.
So I was more so asking, I appreciate that. I was more so asking
Your time is up now.
Let him get this last question now. Go ahead.
Your roles and duties, and you said, and you mentioned something that alluded to my next question. You said you are head of department or departments.
And there's problems in various departments as a chief of staff.
So you just
Use your
don't,
microphone.
you just don't, you're not just chief of staff of the mayor's office, executive branch. You are chief of staff, the entire executive branch, which includes administration, all of the department heads, correct?
No, wait a minute. I'm not sure where you're going with this.
No, I'm asking. No, it's
she helps out in every department.
the reason why I'm asking because we don't have a village administrator. And we have a chief of staff.
Right.
They're the same thing because a village administrator is the chief of the staff. You're the administrative heads. So if we have somebody that can be, if she's qualified to do that, maybe we can look into her. I don't know. I'm just saying.
Right.
To have to be paying two people for the same role, I think doesn't make sense, as a waste of the taxpayers' money. Essentially, that's what it is. The chief of staff is the village administrator. They run the day-to-day operations of the village. That's what they do. The department heads, the administration answers to them.
That's correct.
I'm just. That's why the title confused. When you said, when I asked, as I heard that, I'm like, we have a chief of staff, but don't we also have a village administrator also, or the position? That's why that confused me. That's why I was asking her roles if she does that. So according to what she described, and you described, she doesn't do that. So I'm just trying to figure out, one, why don't we have a village administrator? Two, why do we have both? Why don't we currently have a village administrator? But two, why do we have both of those positions?
Okay. Because we need it in the mayor's office. Now, we had the village administrator.
That's what I'm trying. What staff is she chief of? That's what I'm trying to understand. If she's not chief of the administrative staff, which they are the staff under the executive branch, what staff are you chief? That's what I mean. I'm just asking. I want clarity. I was in clarity.
I think I explained it to you. She's chief of staff in my office. Now, if you look at any mayor's office, they've had administrators and chiefs of staffs. The city of Chicago got 50 of them. You know, they have other villages have chiefs of staffs and village administrators. Now, I'm a part-time mayor, but in this job, it's a full-time job. You know. In these other towns, the mayors are part-time with 1,300 people, 5,000 people, 7,000 people. In some cases, they have chief of staffs as well as a village administrator. And some of them are full-time paid mayors, and they get paid as full-time mayors. With some of the issues that we had here in the village of Dalton, before we even had her, a village administrator wasn't handling them all.
So, I mean, there was help. I mean, that's fine. That's the answer, then that's what it is. I just needed clarity on that. And frankly, you mentioned what other what other villages do. I live in the village of Dalton, and that's why I'm speaking up and asking a question about our village that we live in. It's just, it didn't sit well with me when I found out we had a chief of staff.
Right.
Essentially, because when you say she's the chief of staff in your office comprises of the village administrators, the heads. The administration, all the department heads. That's part of your office as executive. So I would assume that she would be.
You can't assume now.
Chief. I know. I can. I'll be wrong or right. That's fine. That's on me. Yeah. But that's why I said I would assume that that's what the role. But that's fine if that's.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You want to be the village administrator? I didn't think so. Go ahead.
Yeah. How you doing? It is my opinion that this board is absolutely out of control. Absolutely. Consider this for 1 second. Have you ever seen the Congress of the United States, the legislative body, hire and fire or reprimand a janitor, or let's say the clerical staff in the executive branch? What about the state legislature? Have they ever hire or fire a janitor or clerical staff. That is not the role of the legislative branch of government. That is a serious overreach in your responsibilities. Like, I don't even understand how that's even legal. If I were you, Mr. Mayor, I would absolutely disregard those ordinances and absolutely just refuse to enforce.
You read my mind?
Yeah, I would refuse to enforce them because it's unconstitutional. That's not even their role to do that. Why are you even in the business of hiring, firing, or reprimanding a worker in the executive branch of government? It makes zero sense. Just the same way, if you want to somehow get at the mayor, get at him during the budget. That is absolutely within your purview. You can do that. But this man has went in front of the voters. He has went with his record in front of the voters, and they reelected him. It's over. They reelected him. Okay? Now, what's going to happen if one of you guys become mayor? Would it be then okay if the board then takes your power away? Yeah, it's not the same thing. No, this board is out of control. You need to find some way to work with this mayor, okay? Find some way. There's 6 heads here, 6 heads. Only thing I'm saying right now is just fight them. Try to work with them, okay? Talk to him on a human level and see what he can do. Has anybody ever attempted that?
I did last week.
Last week?
Last week, just last week, to sit down to see could we come to a happy media. And this is not about this is about all of us that live in this village. So that didn't work out too well, so I excused myself. But I did reach out to sit with him to try to see can we work together and do the right thing for the people of this village. Thank you.
Sure.
You did not reach out to me.
1 second.
Wait, hold on. No.
Finish this.
Hold a second.
I did not sit down with you. I have a witness, Mayor, that we all sat down and had breakfast together and tried to talk. I was not at a meeting with you just last week, sitting down, having breakfast with you, Mayor, along with someone else that was an impartial individual.
Trustee.
Respectfully, we witnessed hours of this. Mr. Mayor, please, respectfully, I have to stop.
I have to respond. But she did not reach out to me.
But sir, I didn't ask the question.
There was a mutual friend.
This is my time.
There was a mutual friend.
Mr. Mayor,
that
please.
I asked to reach
Mr. Mayor,
out to her.
I cannot, please. Thank you so much.
Go ahead.
This is it. This right here is what we see. This right here is the face of this village. And this is out of control. You mentioned the election. Absolutely. Change your minds on the election. Elect somebody else. Okay, put them in front of you. Debates, absolutely. But at the end of the day, we need to find some way that we can work with each other. Okay, you guys are an embarrassment to this village.
I agree.
Absolutely embarrassment to this village. And I don't know how you can continue just to come up here and argue day in and day out. And the gentleman up here was speaking about economic development. When's the last time you heard about that in this village? I mean, that's what you want to hear. We're hearing about, I don't have enough time in the media center. What type of petty stuff is that? Trustee Muhammad, I'm really looking at you regarding this, because you like leading the way. I mean, dude, you lost the election. You like at the bottom, homie. Whoa. I mean, so stop. Give it up.
Let's be respectful. Don't refer to me as homie.
Please, can I please have order?
What's his last name? Mr. Shaw, let's be respectful. I don't refer to you as homie. You shouldn't refer to me as homie, sir.
Good afternoon, citizens. Good afternoon, board. Mayor. Long time no see. Fathers and blessings, Demetrius Walker, of course. Haven't been in a while. We've been out here working, of course, putting efforts in our community. Got a little call about some questioning about fathers and blessings. It's a sad day that you can come up and we can ask questions about fathers and blessings, financial gain, but we had a fire at our location about 5 months ago, 5.5 months ago. We put that in this community. We built that with our own money. We put everything in that location. Not once have I heard anyone mention that about fathers and blessings, or the mentoring program that we steady have going on, or anything that we're doing in this community on a continuous basis. There are a lot of illegal things going on with this village, the board, its actions, and unfortunately, our village is going to have to pay for it, because we have legal actions, Fathers and Blessings, coming up against this village that unfortunately is due to the cause of how they organize and do things. As I believe, Pearson, you made a statement today, I believe, about the contracts of $150,000 that you pay Fathers and Blessings in a negative way, I believe?
No, I didn't.
Okay. You made a statement about that,
I
correct?
made a statement that we were trying to recoup money for cutting grass that the village has to pay. I mentioned the fact that over the 2-year period, we spent about $150,000 with Fathers and Blessings.
Just one organization? No, I'm asking, one organization?
Nothing negative about your organization.
How many grass cutters do you have? How many contractors?
3.
So you just steady mentioning one organization you steady bringing up
Because that was
to occurrences.
That was the one with the large dollar amount.
Okay, so
The other ones were very small dollar amounts.
So,
but it wasn't in the negative like you're trying to portray here.
So I believe you got, each one of you trustees, did you receive an email of questioning from one of our supreme politicians in this area?
Yes, we did.
Okay. Did anyone respond with the proper documentations or anything alleged to your allegations?
I responded to them.
Or you sent documentations or something to prove facts?
That's not my place.
Okay. Again,
I referred them to the village attorney.
Fathers and Blessings, that's a non-for-profit, we're here. Unfortunately, guys, you have to look at this again. They're going to cost this village a lot of money. And unfortunately, you can listen to us or not, but when those tags keep hitting these villages and the attorneys and these lawsuits keep coming in and your taxes keep going up because they're going to try to figure out a way to pay for these things, we ought to look at who we're electing and who we're having up here as our officials leading us through the way that we're going in this community. Because again, no trustee came to talk to us or provide us with any information that we're still actually talking about. How long ago is this? The contract we've been out, how long?
All right, sir, your time is up.
A year, I want to say.
Okay, a year? Okay. Well, do apologize for my time being up. But again, ladies and gentlemen, again, Fathers and Blessings is here. We haven't went anywhere. We're not bad, we're not running, but unfortunately, again, we do have a village of uncooperative individuals, as you can see, that's not willing to move anything forward. So I just want to say, God bless everyone, and everyone have a good night.
Thank you. Okay, that concludes our citizens' address. We will be, yeah, we need a motion to go into closed section. I'm sorry.
Make a motion to go into closed session for the sake of imminent litigation.
Second.
Okay, there's a motion and seconded to go into closed session. Roll call.
Trustee Muhammad?
Aye.
Trustee Stubbs?
Aye.
Trustee House?
Aye.
Trustee Denton? Aye. Trustee Pearson?
Aye.
Trustee Henyard?
Aye.
Okay, there will be no more action taken after we come out of closed session.
Hey.